What's up, guys? My name is Ash, I'm 18 years old, and I am a transgender man. Okay, so like I promised you, here's my video on developing masculinity as a trans guy. I'm gonna try to break it down super simple, and basically I'll just go over some key concepts, like what is masculinity in the first place, what are we talking about, what does it mean to be trans, and then work on building a stronger sense of masculinity as a trans guy. This video can really apply to anybody. If you want to be a more masculine person in general, it doesn't really matter what sexual orientation you have. It could be for cis men, trans guys, even girls who want to be more masculine. It's just in general, really, because masculinity it can be applied to anybody. So what is masculinity in the first place? What am I even talking about? The definition of masculinity is the qualities or attributes that are considered manly characteristics or of male characteristics. So whatever you really consider male, what you think of are like social stereotypes that you think of that represent a man is what we consider masculinity. That could be anything from beards to watching football games and enjoying violence and things like that. What is a trans man? Alright, so the definition of a transgender man is a man who is assigned female at birth. So, that's right. A man who is assigned female at birth. Which means trans men are men. When you're born, you were assigned a gender, which means the doctor just looked at your biological area and deemed you one of the two sexes, one of the two physical sexes, I guess. But as we know, over time, a person with one body part can identify as the opposite sex, because basically when you're trans, it's like your brain just doesn't identify with your body. So you could be a guy up here, but a girl down there, you know? That's how I see it, and that's how I felt like my entire life. Let me just clarify something. Gender is more about social and cultural differences rather than biology. Sex is where we get into like the physical aspects of things, but gender is more so like how we identify and express ourselves, and how that contrasts between different cultures depending where you live, type of people that you surround yourself with, and the stereotypes that you're influenced by. So, what do trans men have to do to be men? The answer is nothing. That's right. You have to do absolutely nothing to be a trans man, except for being a trans man, being yourself, because trans men are men. It's in the dictionary. It's a scientific term now. It's deemed correct. Yeah, trans men are men. That's point blank. So before you go and try to argue with somebody about if trans people aren't really the gender that they identify with, think again, because you're just causing harm that didn't need to be caused. Although trans men are men, and they don't really have to be manly, they can identify and act however they want and still be considered men. A lot of trans men often have insecurities, and due to outside factors like lack of support from family and friends, and lack of male role models even, it's hard for a lot of trans men to be masculine or to think that they are masculine. Oftentimes, it occurs that they have trouble developing masculinity. A man who lacks masculinity isn't necessarily feminine. They could have feminine traits, but more so insecure. This is a chart that identifies positive and negative, or also known as toxic masculinity. That's a whole nother topic that I've yet to dive deep into, but toxic masculinity is basically that absurd, aggressive stereotype that we think of when we think of maybe single men, or just high testosterone, overly confident men, maybe like jocks or people who go to bars and stuff, like the phrase toxic masculinity refers to a very negative form of masculinity, which is a counter from positive masculinity. So here are the traits of that. Here are some basic masculinity traits you can identify in someone's personality. For example, a positive trait would be strong. To be strong means you can show strength and you're not that emotional about things. You're not so sensitive. On the other hand, being aggressive is different than being strong. Being aggressive is a negative masculinity trait because it's like an abuse of power. It's being strong, but overly confident about being strong to the point where you're hurting others or you're leaving a negative influence on them. So yeah, a few examples of positive masculinity and their counter would be confidence. A perfect trait of a confident man would be to have confidence. Now, if you flip the switch and turn that into toxic masculinity, we have arrogance. And you see how those two correlate. So you can be confident and it doesn't cause anybody harm. But if you're arrogant, on the other hand, it does cause people harm, thus making it toxic. And that is where toxic masculinity comes from. Now that I've lectured you guys enough, we're gonna talk about some ways that you, yes you, ways that you yourself can practice being more masculine and developing masculinity today. These come from my own personal experience. I wasn't always the most masculine person. I mean, to others, I probably came off as masculine, but like internally, I didn't feel as masculine as I do today. That is just because, like I said, I didn't have the social support, and I wasn't very close to my father, so I didn't have that father figure or social role to learn from and look up to. This is very common in cis males too. Like if they're raised with just a single mom, this is very common for boys to grow up and have a lot of insecurities and like are kind of shy and not well brought up, you know? So some things that you could try today is practicing affirmations. Affirmations are basically when you just tell something to yourself and it becomes a part of your subconscious over time. The way you do this can be simply from listening to YouTube videos that basically talk for you and all you have to do is listen to them. You could fall asleep while doing that. I could even link some videos that I've been listening to in the description, so you can just have access to that. Or you could just write down your own affirmations and just remind yourself to say that in your head and believe it. And some of these things may not apply to you right now, but that's okay because fake it till you make it. The more you keep on telling yourself this, the more it will be written into your personality. I'm not saying to change who you are, but if you are trying to become a more masculine person, then a bit of changing to your present personality right now is going to be required. If you don't want to do that, then this video is probably not for you. Some affirmations this includes is things like, I am confident, I am valuable, I am a leader. These are all masculine affirmations. To have a sense of masculinity means that you know who you are in the world, that you're sure of yourself. I look at it like if you ever seen a little boy playing at like anywhere, you know, at a park, at school, he knows he's so confident of himself. There's nobody telling him what to do. He's gonna do what he wants to do. If somebody comes in his way, he's probably gonna push them down. Like if a little girl tries to take his toy, he's probably gonna take that toy back and he's gonna show her who's boss, you know? And I'm not saying to like steal people's shit, but you know, I'm just giving you a representation. I'm sorry, my mom's talking. I'm trying to give you a representation of how confidence, and masculinity is a trait that you already have that's inside of you, but over time, social circumstances had diluted it or like washed it away over time because you've been so used to hearing these things that contrast with your original beliefs, you know? Little boys, they have their instinctual masculinity because that's just who we are. That's who men are. I'm not saying every man knows who he is, but like when you're a little kid, the world is yours, you know? There's nobody stopping you. You have that inner drive and that sense of ambition and purpose. And that's what I'm trying to get at. So by practicing affirmations, you can try to build yourself to a better man, to understand more about yourself, and to give you that extra kick and that extra push to bring out the best in you. Second thing that you could do is to get out of your comfort zone. We can't grow if we're staying in the exact same place. You do realize that, right? If you want to make a change, and if you want to become a person that's better than the person you are today, you gotta be a little bit uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable you are, the faster you're gonna be working towards your goals. So what I've been doing lately is making that extra effort once a day to do something out of my comfort zone, outside of that box that society has confined me in. Being able to get out of your comfort zone will push you so far. Not only will it allow you to do more things and gives you more opportunity, it also just builds your sense of purpose, and it builds your sense of self. It keeps your identity whole, you know? So an act of getting out of your comfort zone can be anything, like talking to a girl that you meet, like a stranger. It could be doing something you never thought of doing, taking a risk, going out of your way for somebody, making eye contact with somebody for a whole conversation. It could be super small, it could be super big and reckless, and it doesn't matter. But just get out of your comfort zone. Make sure you're not harming anybody else in the process of that, but stay true to yourself and get out there, do big things. Like I said, you probably heard me mention the word purpose a lot during this video, but that's because that's the main part of masculinity, to me at least. Once you know your purpose, you have a drive, you have ambition, you want to work towards something, you have a vision of yourself in your mind that you want to achieve, and you know yourself. You love yourself. That's another thing. You gotta love yourself, because you're the only guy you got, you know? Everybody else will fold on you over time, but you're the only one that is gonna be able to hold yourself down. So it comes from that. You have to have a strong core. And by finding your purpose, it could be finding out a passion, writing down your goals, wanting to work on something over a course of time. Anything can be your purpose. It's up to you to decide. Nobody else can tell you what that is except for you. So you might have to do some soul searching, but once you figure that out, work on it every single day. It will not just improve your mood, but it will build your confidence. It will make you that masculine man that you're trying to be right now. It will make you believe in yourself more than anybody else has ever believed in you, and that alone will improve the quality of your life and mindset, and overall just everything. More people will want to be friends with you. More people will want to learn from you. More people will learn to look up to you, and you'll be super proud of yourself in the end. So find your purpose, pursue your passion, and don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody get in your way. You're the man. Now, last piece of advice I can offer to help you develop your masculinity is make sure you always put yourself first. A man never lets himself down. That means you gotta keep your own word. If you say you're gonna do something, you gotta keep your own word. It's like bro code, you know? And that's the same thing that goes with other positive traits of masculinity. It's loyalty, it's integrity, it's doing things when nobody's looking, because you're doing it for yourself. You're always watching yourself, so somebody is looking, and you can't let yourself down. So make sure you always put yourself first. Unless it's like in a life or death situation and you're trying to save somebody, save the other person. But in anything else, make sure you come first. Never let people step on your shoes. Don't be a pushover, because you're more than that. Know your worth, and you got this into the world. If you need any other advice or you want to talk to me and have a conversation about this video one-on-one, my DMs are open. My Instagram is ashtonics. One more thing that I just wanted to let you guys know is that I'm going to try to build this YouTube channel up, and I'm willing to work really hard for it, just because I want to be that mentor and I want to be that friend for other trans kids to look up to, for other trans kids to get resource from and to get support from, because I did not have that, and my life would have been a whole lot easier if I had that. So the only way I can be able to grow this YouTube channel is if you guys return your gratitude by showing support. I want to be able to hopefully reach monetization level soon, so getting paid for my YouTube videos, but in order to do that I need like 20,000 minutes or hours or something of watch time, so I need a lot more people to be watching my videos. And the only way that you guys can help me do that is by increasing my chances on the algorithm, which is liking and sharing these videos, commenting, please, and also just basically, yeah, just spreading the word. And yeah, like, I'm here for you, and I want to know my subscribers on a personal level. So if you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to hit me up. Also, if you have a YouTube video topic in mind, that would help me out a lot too, so I know exactly what you guys want, and I can work on producing that content for you. I could try to get these videos looking better and brighter every single time, but in order to do so, I need that support. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you so much, and have a great day. Thank you for watching.